Hey guys, it's Logan back with another video. So in this video I wanted to address a trend that I see has been happening in the tech world. For some reason, just logos of any kind for companies and such, especially for tech products, have been getting simpler and simpler progressively. And this has all been happening for seemingly no apparent reason. Now I'm going to show you what I mean in a minute by getting simpler, and I'm sure you'll understand. So yeah, in this video, I just want to address what is happening. I'm going to show you some examples of the type of simplification that I'm talking about, and also we're going to try to address why it might be happening. And also if it's a good thing or a bad thing, of course. Let's get right into it. So why do tech icons keep getting simpler? Well, first, in order to answer that, I'm going to have to show you guys what I mean by getting simpler in the first place. So here's an example of some older logos that were used in the past by companies. Logos or icons, in some cases one, in some case the other. In any case, it's some kind of pictorial representation that is used to sell things typically, or if in the case of an icon in the tech world, to just be something that you click on, you know, that sort of thing, like the Safari icon here or the calendar. But these are some older ones and how they looked generally in the past before they got simpler. Now, here's how they get simpler. See the difference? Of course, they got much simpler than they used to be, with just no more like shading and sort of reflections. Like, look at how the Safari looked in the past versus how it looks now. And that pretty much holds true for all of them, that the shading and the reflections have gone away and it's been more like solid colors now. Just a lot simpler logo overall. And that's just a trend for just pretty much any tech product you can possibly think of. Of course, there's this example, which is probably the best of all, of going from Windows XP logo to Windows 11 logo. I mean, just look at how much detail was lost. They don't even have the different colors anymore. It's like there's no way that you can look at this and tell me that they're not making the logo just get so much simpler than it used to be. Again, this is not necessarily a bad thing that I'm saying right off the bat, that this should not be happening. I'm just pointing it out. So then there's a question of really, why though? Why is it happening? There doesn't seem to be that great of a reason for it to happen. So I'm just going to start by giving my own opinion. So personally, I think I do prefer the simpler icons, but I think that means very little. And let me explain why. So most of the time I associate the simpler icons with new, fast software. And I associate the complex icons with some old computer that's running a very outdated OS that has very old software and is not at all nice to use. So that's why I think it's just because of association that I prefer the simpler icons. If the simpler icons belong to the older products and the more complex ones belong to the newer products, as some might expect it to be that way, I think I would prefer the more complex ones. But I think that's the only reason, because of association, that I actually prefer the simpler ones. However, I think that the reason for why this is happening is that basically it's not because necessarily consumers would just already prefer the simpler icons and that's why everything's moving towards that, because then you could ask, why didn't we have the simpler icons before then? I think really it's just at first people designing these icons wanted to show off a bit when, like, you know, the sort of digital art was kind of newer to the scene, and they were like, oh, we're gonna make the logo fancy with like a lot of reflections and shadows. But now that it's like we know that everybody can do that anyway, so they don't worry about showing off there. They're just like, we're gonna be lazy and make them simpler. I think there is an element definitely of being a little bit lazy, because I mean it's way easier probably for them to make a simpler one. I think that's maybe where it started. Someone was like, oh, let me just save time by making the logo that I have to design and just making it look very simple. And then somebody else was like, hey, that looks kind of cool. Let's do that too, so that we don't have to do any extra work. I think that might have been when it started, but then it just got to be that now simple is like futuristic and sleek, and like complex is like old, you know, like Windows Vista, that notorious name that nobody ever wants to hear. So yeah, I think that really sums it up pretty much. So now that I've given my opinion, I really do encourage you guys to put your opinion down in the comments. Firstly, I want to know, what do you guys think about the change? Do you love the simpler icons? Do you hate the simpler icons and wish we still had the complex ones? Or are you somewhere in the middle? Tell me down below in the comments. And also tell me, why do you think that this is happening? Do you agree with me about the reason, or do you think there's something else, some other reason why the icons have been getting simpler? I would be really curious to know, so please do let me know down below. Also hit that subscribe button while you're at it. Alright, that's all I have for today. Guys, if you found this video informative, please do consider going down to the description and clicking the link to join the Discord server associated with this YouTube channel. Also, on the server, I'm doing a giveaway of an RTX 3060, and the giveaway ends in mid-November. So if you're watching this before then, click on the link to join the Discord server so that you could get into that giveaway and maybe win an RTX 3060. Alright everybody, have a good one.